It's another opportunity to cross-talk, literally talk and cross path this beautiful day. You're welcome to Crosstalk. This is Enterprise TV. Kingsley Bass is my name, and today we tackle a topic that's sparking heated discussions across Nigeria, and that's simple. Should Nigerians be made to pay tolls, especially at this time? Now, this debate comes in the wake of the recent commencement of toll collections on the Abuja-Akwanga Makurdi corridor, and the federal government is saying that tolling is necessary to maintain infrastructure and to ensure better road quality. As a matter of fact, this toll that will be collected is said to be one that will be used to repay the loans or the loan collected that was used to fix the road. Yeah. Now, with the current economic challenges in the country, with rising inflation, with fuel cost and the cost of living, many Nigerians feel this is an added burden on already struggling citizens. So, is tolling a necessary step toward sustainable road development, or is this an unfair imposition in tough times? We have two gentlemen, concerned citizens, ready to weigh into this conversation. So let's hear their perspectives. And as always, we want to hear from you as well. Again, Kingsley Bass is my name. I've got in the studio with me journalist Emeka Madunagu. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. Joining the conversation virtually is political commentator Benga Yonuga Paul. Benga, thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Yeah. All right, let's get straight to the conversation. A loan agreement was signed by the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari to fix that corridor, the Abuja-Akwanga Makurdi corridor. And toll collection has started with this administration of President Bola Tinubu. And the breakdown is simple. Well, saloon cars, 500 naira. Sports utility vehicles and jeeps, 800 naira. Mini buses, 1,000 naira. Articulated vehicles, that's your trucks, 1,600 naira. Mika, is that too much? Should we be tolling Nigerians, or should Nigerians be paying tolls at this time with the current economic situation in the country?
The answer is no.
Why not?
If you check the fuel, diesel that Nigerians buy, they pay a tax on it. So that is multiple taxation. How will you tax people on petroleum products, the gas they buy, they use to fuel their vehicles, and you still tax them for using the roads? Roads are actually a utility. It's a responsibility of the government to provide roads. How are people going to commute? So when people begin to pay to use the roads that are the statutory responsibility of the government, then what is the need for government? That means private individuals can as well come together, put money together, build roads, and just collect money from people, and everybody will live happily ever after.
All over the world, tolls are collected, right?
All over the world, roads are first built, maintained by government before the consideration of tolls. And responsible government don't just wake up in the middle of the night to impose a toll on a road.
Is that how
you have to consult with the people first. Because it's human beings that are going to use the road. You have to consult with the people and then get their buy-in. You have to make sure that your expectations from the tolling will not fail. Now, you also have to make sure that you have a slip road for those who cannot pay. It's not everybody who can pay 500 naira. Hope you know.
Well, if you're driving the saloon car, you should afford that, shouldn't you?
How many cars do you see on the road this time compared to 2023? This time, 2023. There are fewer cars on the road. A lot of people cannot fuel their vehicles. A lot of people cannot just fuel their vehicles. And then you're not imposing an additional burden on the people. That is not right. That's not right. There are so many ways by which you can finance, infrastructure without necessarily placing additional burdens on the people. There are many ways. But first of all, you got to know that we tried tolling the other time under, was it not Obasanjo who demolished the toll gates? Why? Because of the rampant corruption in the system, in the tolling system. Then now you are bringing back tolls, you know, without even telling us who is going to be collecting the tolls. But we talk of transparency. Who is going to be collecting the tolls? On what basis?
We have an obligation to pay the loan agreement signed by former President Muhammadu Buhari, and this tolling, the federal government, the current administration say it's going to go, you know, for the purpose of the repayment.
That's 85% of it, because federal government paid.
They provided
85%. Yes, 15%.
They provide 85%, which is huge, you know, funding for this project. So yeah, we have an obligation to pay back, and this is a good way to pay back. Yes.
You see, it is one way, not just the only way to pay back. What I'm talking about is that, you know, when you turn roads to commercial ventures, what you do is that you place burdens on the people that will be difficult for them to bear.
Okay.
It's already difficult for the people to commute. You know, as at this time, 2023, traveling from Lagos to Onitsha, for instance, let me give an example, would just cost me about 10,000 naira. You know, I mean, go to a transport company and take a vehicle. You know, Onitsha, you know, it is 10,000, 15,000 by road averagely. But today, it's 50,000 naira.
50,000.
Yes, between 35 and 50,000 naira. Now, you place a toll on the road. What you're doing is that, you know, I mean, aero contractors, you know, I mean, it's their fares, they say their fares are between 80 and 90,000 naira. So what it means is that we can as well just forget about the roads and go by air. Just gather money, you know, let me just gather 80 to 90,000 naira and then go by air. I mean, so basically it is the ordinary people who use the roads these days because of, you know, bad roads, insecurity and all of that. So when you now shut out the ordinary people who use the road, the rich already fly. They fly. The governors, politicians, top government officials, you know, presidency officials, they go by air. So the ordinary Nigerians, the farmers, you know, who have to transport their goods by road, you know, the regular commuters, you just place an additional burden on them. Okay. What do you want?
Let's turn to Benga. Benga, Madunagu says, complete no. This Nigerian should not be paying tolls at this time. What do you say?
I can't say no, even though my yes is half-hearted. But saying complete no is being unrealistic. You understand? Because if you say no because you are looking at the cost of the toll gate, in fact, what you forgot to mention is that the toll gates are like for those who are going to go throughout the whole stretch of that road, you know. And so if they are paying 500 or whatever the amount in one place, they might likely pay twice or thrice for those who are going to use the entire stretch of the road. And so from another report that I read, it says something like the least paying will be around 2,000 naira, and then those who are like the trucks are going to pay around 6,500 naira. But you see, if we look at the whole issue objectively, we will see that the cost they are going to pay for using the road is better compared to the cost that they have been paying for using the road when it was bad. The only problem that I have with the system is that, one, when they were constructing the road, they did not, I am tired, in fact, not tired, I hate it every time I hear that our roads are being constructed by Chinese or foreigners entirely. I don't care whether they are Germans, whether they are Arabs or Chinese or Russians. You understand? Because I believe that there are lots of Nigerian indigenous communities with the capacity to build our road. That's one. Secondly is that I also hate it when I hear that we are going to borrow money when we can raise fund internally. So as they are building the Makurdi-Akwanga road, why can't we have an IPO where all Nigerians, especially people from around that community, most communities that are going to use it, you know, they can buy shares with 20,000 naira, 30,000 naira. They become part owners of that road, such that as they are tolling the people and they are declaring profit at the end of the year, even if it is 500 naira that is coming to them as dividend, even if it is 1,000 naira, they know that it is their money that built the road, and they are also getting a dividend for contributing to building the road. So having failed in those perspectives, but having the government having failed in those perspectives, that is why I am not in support of their road project. But if you look at the overall, the only area that I agree with my guy in the studio there is that there should be alternative roads for those who don't want to use that road. Because this issue of tolling that you are talking about, recently I read about a particular individual in the UK, I think in one of the United Kingdom sub-countries, whether Wales or Scotland or Northern Ireland, I can't remember exactly now. But this guy saw, the road they use in the neighborhood is like, you know, you are going to Shagamu, you have to first go through Iwokwe. You can't go through Ekpe now. You have to first go through Iwokwe, come out at J4, then make your way through Ijebuode to Shagamu. And this guy has a way to make road through his particular plot of land, his lot, and he made road through it and was tolling that road. Now that road that he made, he was saving people around 3 hours of travel time, because that straight road saved people. It happened in the UK. You can look it up. I've forgotten the name of that person, but I know it's one of the countries in the UK, sub-countries in the UK. So he made the road. The what do you call community government? You know, over there, they came and they said no, they want, and he said no. They took it to court. He won, and people voluntarily were passing his road more than the normal road, because it will save them a lot of time. You know, your guest in the studio was talking about farmers and how much burden is placed on them, but I don't believe it's placed tolling the road is placing burden on farmer. Rather, it is removing burden on farmer, because farmers who you would take a whole day or 2 days to traverse the length of that road before, the journey is being cut down to 2 hours or less for them, because now there is a good road. So there are products that ought to have spoiled as a result of the bad road is being saved. So they are going to make more money, because if 20% or 50% of their product used to get rotten before, now that will not happen, and they are being saved a lot of money in that area. The travelers who,
yeah, I was just going to say that, that's a valid point, right? Because we've complained about the cost of travel, for example, as a result of bad roads, and maybe to support Gbenga's point of view, you know, without necessarily taking sides, would be the fact that there will be no checkpoints necessarily in those with that stretch.
Who said so?
Well, I'm saying not necessarily.
You are assuming that there will be checkpoints.
For delays, right?
Let me tell you, the kind of security agencies, Nigeria police you have today, will even put a checkpoint there. Because they know that people, oh, okay, how did you pass through that toll? You paid, so you should have some change. I mentioned corruption. See, the issue of tolling, for me, shouldn't arise now.
The tolling is different.
What you can do is to actually make those road projects viable business options.
But we're talking about
viable investment options. I'll let you know. For instance, you can raise an infrastructure bond that will even pay more money than the tolling. Because don't forget, what is it? You're trying to pay back a loan in dollars and you are using naira to pay when you have a difference of 1,600 something. The point to me is this: if you raise a bond, if you raise an infrastructure bond or even a green bond, you can construct the road in such a way that it is environmentally appealing. Maybe it leads to farming communities, for instance, and you say, okay, in order to preserve so and so, to do this and that, okay, we want to raise a green bond. And right now the appetite of Nigerians for bonds is high. You can actually raise that bond and use it to offset whatever you may have.
Let's hear from Benga. Benga, yes.
Can we speak realistically? Because apparently maybe your guest has not passed through that road before, so he doesn't understand.
I've gone through that road a number of times. Is it not to Akwanga, the road that leads to Bauchi, to Adamawa, to Taraba? I've been on that road. Yes.
Okay, so if you have been on that road several times, you will understand that building the road helps the community too. In this sense, one, not only does it save travel times. If I'm going to go by the logic of police checkpoint, I've not even spoken to police checkpoint.
I raised that. My bad.
Or not, because it's not important. If there is a bad road, once the road is good, it deters them from mounting checkpoint. Go and check 99% of checkpoint. I've traveled through the length and breadth of this country. At least I've not made the whole 36 states, but I've made 32 out of the 36 states. Checkpoints are more easily mounted on bad roads rather than good roads.
No, I don't agree with that.
I
don't agree with that. On Benin or Shagamu or Benin Road, you will find checkpoints on the Ondo stretch is good. The Ondo stretch is good. You will see multiple checkpoints.
About the tolling, whether it is good or not, and I am saying that apart from my initial reservation about Nigerian companies not handling it and the fund not coming from Nigerians through IPOs and things like that, so that Nigerians too can get benefit back once they are tolling it. Apart from those reservations, I think that some of our infrastructural need to meet them, whether you like it or not. When the toll gates in Lekki, before it was suspended due to that incident, when it was available, yes, nobody likes to pay, just like taxes. Nobody likes to pay taxes. Nobody likes to pay. But you can't take away the fact that when Lekki toll gate was there, for example, when your car gets to break down along that route, you will get fast and easy rescue. And this is what part of the things that will come with this toll gate, because it is privately operated. And the issue of corruption, money not being remitted doesn't come in at all, because one, technology is being used in this instance to bridge the gap, because the owners or the people who built the road and want to make their money back, they want to make sure that whatever money comes in directly. So technology is being used to bridge that gap, so much so that even their staff cannot steal money like we used to have in the day of the old toll gate.
But have you discounted the fact of failures of incomplete transfer? That's a major problem. You try to make a transfer and it doesn't go through. What happens? Won't they raise the barrier for you to pass?
There are 1 million and one technology that they would have factored in. This is not.
No, you are assuming that they factored it in, but that's what I was talking about, transparency. Before you do this thing, you should have brought out.
Please hold your thoughts.
Transparency.
Please hold your thoughts.
There should be transparency in things like this. You don't just come, just announce it.
I'm sorry, gentlemen.
There are some payment platforms we have today that before you send your transfer out, their transfer has never failed. I don't want to mention them so that it won't look as advert. There are payment platforms that people don't regard because they don't have physical structure in place in Nigeria today, that their transfer has never failed. You know them, I know them. We won't mention them because of advert, not to be advertising. So technology has gone far beyond all of those things. The challenge you are talking about, for me, I know that the benefits of having this road it outweighs the disadvantage that you want to talk about, and the road users are going to actually benefit more from it rather than the other way around. Because you see, the 2,000 naira that cars will pay, if you use 12 hours on a road rather than use 2 hours on the same road, you will buy food though, because you will get hungry. You will buy food. You are likely to run the risk of armed robbers and kidnappers. And you know, this road, because they want to encourage you to use the road, there will be constant patrol along the length and breadth of the road, because it's a private business now.
All right, Benga.
It is not government. So all of those factors, it is going to be more beneficial to the people. My reservation is just that it is not constructed by Nigerians' money, and also as an individual, like we buy IPO and then invest in it, and it's also not constructed by Nigerian company. That's just my reservation. Other than that, I think the benefit outweighs the disadvantage that we are talking about.
Just before I get to Emeka, you've said that, oh yeah, I mean, we should do that. But very quickly, considering the cost of fuel at the moment, the inflation in the country now, Nigerians are complaining.
That is why you need to go. Listen, if you burn your fuel, even if your car is not moving, if you on your engine for 12 hours, it will consume more fuel than if you on your engine for 2 hours. So on the overall, it is still beneficial, because if you are buying, if you're supposed to use 30 liters because you are going to be on that road for 12 hours because of bad road, and you can make that entire stretch within 2-3 hours, you are going to use maybe 15 liters or less. So it has saved you money from that area too.
All right.
So it's benefit. It is not every government policy that we must say because we don't like government we want to cast.
Well, you are assuming that because we don't like government, let's make this thing intellectual. Let's not bring it down. Let's not bring it down to the Nigerian pedestrian level because I don't like government. I am not under any obligation to like government. Mine is to do my job as a citizen. There is no obligation on me to like or hate government. I like us to remove that from the argument. It belittles the essence of a discussion when we have to reduce it to liking or not liking government. The point is basic, and which is anchored on facts, which is that at this time things are difficult. So adding, placing additional burdens on Nigerians to apply the road, to me is, not acceptable. It is wrong. It is not proper, And of course, if you are paying back a debt, there are ways of paying back the debt. Well, I talked about transparency. Details about this project were not made public. The details about the tolling, about the tolling, who is handling it, for how long it will take, were not made public. Now, we found out that there are roads in Nigeria that are road projects being financed by tax credits, right? Now, this one has been financed with a loan, right? But, you see, we need to ask ourselves a question. Without transparency, it is difficult for us to know how long this tolling is going to take. And then, what dimension is going to take?
There is a period for this, but that said, this is not the commencement has started for this particular one. That's the corridor, the Abuja-Akwanga Makurdi corridor. But Nigerians, it's going to spread across the country. I know that there are plans for the Lagos Ibadan expressway as well. Even
the second Niger bridge, they've already built the toll booths already there. So, and you know the interesting thing, by those toll booths, you have a heavy police checkpoint. All right. So the police are now using those abandoned toll booths as their checkpoints.
Well, we've got to wrap here, and in just 30 seconds, gentlemen, let's wrap your thoughts finally. I'll begin with you, Emeka, finally.
For me, you see, tolling should actually be a last resort in terms of constructing roads. I know the economy is in dire straits.
Yes.
But again, we must also begin to tell ourselves the truth. You can't tax your way to prosperity. You can't tax the people to death because you want to generate revenue. You're already talking of increasing VAT to 15%. You're talking of other forms of taxes here and there. You've increased you've approved for telecom operators to increase their tariffs.
By 50%.
You are talking about electricity tariffs increasing. What is it?
Benga, finally.
I believe that tolling this particular road, every other issues will be taken one at a time. But on this particular road,
yes,
it's going to save people a lot of stress, both mental, psychological, and physical fatigue. And it is also going to make their journey smoother. And everybody pays a premium to get such kind of services. So if that is what government feels needs to be done at the moment, yes, I have my reservations about some of the processes, but because I know that on the overall it should be able to bring bigger benefit of reducing travel time for the people and reduce the amount of goods and services that will get rotten during such travel time, it is a good one.
All right, you've heard from both gentlemen, Benga and Yonuga Paul, political commentator who joined the conversation virtually, and Mika Madunagu. What's your take? Do you think that at this time that the federal government should be, making Nigerians pay tolls, whether it's the Abuja-Akwanga Makurdi corridor, is the Lagos-Ibadan expressway, or the second Niger bridge? Should Nigerians be paying tolls at this time? Let's hear your thoughts in the comment section. Gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very much for being on the program. Emeka, thank you very much. Benga, appreciate you being on the program as well.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, this was virtual in person. I would have said we should have a hand stretch. You can just do the stretching.
It's okay.
There you go. All right, this is all for national development, and what's the word now? No dislike or hatred whatsoever. Well, it's been crosstalk today. Nah. Kingsley Bassey is my name. Until next time, remember to stop by the comment section and drop your comments. Let's know what you think as well. Until next time, God bless you. And indeed, God bless the Federal Republic, or continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye for now.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.